What up, y'all? This is the video about how to open and maintain a security company. Touch bases on a few different things, a few different topics as far as this goes. For those of y'all that don't know me, I am the infamous Reaper One. I own the Interceptor Protection Specialist private security company in San Diego, California. I ran that company for about 4 years before I decided I was done. Sold all my contracts, moved to Arizona. So, yeah. I definitely have experience in this field. So I'm just waiting on some more of y'all to get on in here so we can go ahead and get started. Because I know a lot of y'all had some questions. Damn, that's all messed up. What's up, Thomas? I know you definitely had some questions. Yo, while since it's just you in here right now, I'll touch bases on this. The PPO test for California is really easy. It is not hard. It's not about security. It's primarily about the business and professions codes and the general basics on business. Like, for example, it's going to ask you questions like, second here. It's going to ask you questions such as, what's up, Michael? I see you're here now, too. It's going to ask you questions basically about, like, when it comes to your patrol cars, your contracts, your business cards, your brochures, does your PPO number need to be on it? Yes. Everything that your company name is on, your PPO number needs to be on it. If it's not on there, I guarantee you, BSIS will come down on you and want to give you shit about it. The PPO test, it breaks down things like it's literally just business and contract type stuff, man. That's what it's about. You said you purchased that study guide. I didn't get a chance to go and look at it yet, but I will take a look at it. And when I review it, I'll definitely get back with you and let you know. But like I said, man, the PPO test is easy. They give you an hour and a half to take that test to get that license. And then from there, you just move on. It's literally, it took me 15 minutes to knock it out, man. And I didn't do any kind of specialized studying or anything else like that, man. Like, I literally took that test based off of the knowledge I had from being in the security industry so long prior to opening my company. Michael, PPO in California is a private patrol operator. Basically, it's a security company. It's a license for you to run a private security agency in the state of California is what they call it. Every state, they call it something a little bit different, but in California, it's a PPO. Let me get to my notes here. Give me 1 second. I took a lot of time and wrote down some notes. And now I'm trying to find them. But I think I just did. All right, yeah. Bodyguard, yeah. PPO in, I believe it's Texas. It's considered a bodyguard. But in California, it's private patrol operator. There is no courses in California that you can take that'll qualify you as a bodyguard. Funny enough, with California being, especially Southern California with, Hollywood and everything being there, to think that there'd be some kind of specialized course that you could take specifically for bodyguard that would certify you, there's not. You can literally get your guard card with no experience and turn around and start doing bodyguard work. It's seriously that easy. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you want to open a security company, the first thing you need to do is have a plan. Have a business plan. Figure out exactly what it is that you want to specialize in before you open the company. Like me personally, when I opened my company, I specialized in properties that are just all around fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my language, excuse me, this is just me. I'm telling y'all how it is for me. This is just how I am. You got to have a plan. You can't just open a security company and then just go after whatever is out there. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. You got to do your research and figure out what the demand is for security in your area. I'm going to be honest with you. You can offer security for anything. Hell, you can sell a police department security if you could do it. If you're good at sales, you know what I'm saying? You can put a guard at anything. But you got to have a plan, and you got to know exactly how much those properties are going to cost you in order for you to do business on those properties. You can't just, jump out there and do it. Here's an example. A lot of people don't know is that when you go to nightclubs, bars, strip clubs, Section 8 housing, all of those places are very hard for you to get insurance for. There's not very many insurance companies who will cover you for those type of places. They're high risk. Even with special events that serve alcohol, they're high risk. So if you do get the insurance, I promise you it's going to be expensive. It's going to be really expensive. I mean, the last time I got a quote for full coverage general liability insurance for Section 8 housing, it was up there so much it's not even worth it. So keep that in mind on what you're doing. Again, before you get started, do your research and see what's around. For example, if you live in a town that's more, warehouses and stuff like that, you may want to gear towards that way. If you live in an area that has more apartment complexes, you might want to gear that way. But just keep in mind that if you go to an apartment complex that is Section 8 low income housing, okay, your insurance company is going to ding you on it. If they'll even cover you. They may not even cover you. So keep that in mind. So the very first thing you want to do is do a business plan. Now, I had some people ask me about government grants when it comes to opening a security company. I did find a website that you can research for that. And when I'm done with the video, I'll put the link in the comments. So if you want to go through and check that out, you can. You can get a government grant, but you got to have all your shit together. You literally got to have a business plan written out. You got to have everything like tip-top shape. You might even have to hire somebody that specializes in writing those kind of proposals for you to send to the government to get that grant. There's a lot that goes with that. But it is possible. You can get a government grant to help you open a small business. A security company, when you first start out, it's a small business. So, James, I appreciate it, brother. What's up, Kenneth? I see that you're here. There was a few other people that I saw pop up in here. What's going on? So, write a business plan. You can find all kind of templates and whatnot that you can use to write a business plan for your security company. Do your research. Now, every state is different. For the most part, each state has their own licensing agency as far as it goes for getting a security company license going. For the most part, you need to be licensed. I know there's states like Colorado where there's certain areas of Colorado where you're not required to have a license to open a security company. You're not even required to have a license to be a security guard. Hell, you're not even required to have a license to carry a gun while you're in a security uniform working. Yeah, there's states that are like that. Colorado is like that. But if you go into Denver, Colorado, you will need a license. You will need a license. They do have a regulatory agency, which I believe is the Denver Police Department. So if you're in the Denver metro area, or you plan on doing business in the Denver metro area, check out Denver PD. They'll be the ones you got to go to get your licenses. Now, 2 states I can speak on that I know from experience. California and Arizona, they have their own state regulatory agency. Texas is the same way. You got to go and get those licenses. Don't get caught running a security business without a license. You will fuck yourself before you get started. The fines are ridiculous. Okay? They will fine you. In some states, they'll even jail you. Get the license first. Mike, I see your question about getting clients. I'm definitely going to touch on that. I got a lot of good things that I can offer you for getting clients. I'll definitely get with you on that. So yeah, get your license. Insurance. If you're going to start up a security company, you're definitely going to need general liability insurance. That is something that you must have. Most clients won't do business with you unless you have a general liability insurance policy. Most states won't give you your license unless you have a general liability insurance. Now, just because your state says that, oh, all you need is, let's say, 150,000 in general liability coverage. Well, that's great. That's all your state requires. But I guarantee you, you will not get any contracts with anybody with only 150,000. The industry standard is $1 million. You need a $1 million policy in order for you to even start thinking about getting contracts. Anything under $1 million, you may get some little contracts here and there, but it's nothing that's going to pay the bills. You don't need contracts that are going to pay the bills. $1 million policy. If you're looking for general liability insurance, again, if you're getting ready to start a company or you have a company, you just want to save some money, I have a person that I work with for the general liability insurance. Again, I'll put their info in the comments too when the video is over. Give them a call and they'll be able to work with you. They can write policies in all U.S. states. All states. They're based out of Washington State, but they're good to write policies everywhere. So now, workers' comp insurance. I got a lot of questions about this too. You only need workers' comp insurance. Yeah, Thomas, Arm 2. The policy that I got from this insurance company, they cover everything, man. They're like the Mercedes of insurance. They cover everything, and it's fairly inexpensive, man. The numbers were great. I think I put $300 down, and my general liability premium was just over $200 a month. And that was for everything. Armed, unarmed, taser, handcuffs, baton, use of force, covered me the whole nine. And that was a $3 million contract that I had. $3 million policy. Sorry, not contract. $3 million policy that I had. So it's not very expensive if you pick the right company. Now, workers' comp insurance. You only need workers' comp insurance when you hire your very first part-time officer. The minute you have one person working for you, even if they're only working 5 or 10 hours a week, 10 hours a month, they're an employee. So you need workers' comp insurance. Now, if you're going to be an owner-operator, which basically means the PPO is in your name, or sorry, the license is in your name, and you're doing all the work yourself, you don't need workers' comp insurance at all. Brandon, I'll put the company in the comments as soon as I get done with the video. That way I'll have all the information down there. You guys can literally just click and go straight to it. But the minute you have one part-time employee, you need workers' comp insurance. Now, there's a shit ton of companies out here that go around that. They go around that. And how they go around it is by paying guys under the table. Oh, you're 1099. Okay. That may work in some states, but in other states, that shit is illegal. I can tell you right now, California, that's illegal. Arizona, that's illegal. Texas, that's illegal. If you get caught doing that, you're busted. It's a fine. You get a major fine. I actually read a news article last year where a company in California, the guy got caught paying his employees under the table, and he went to jail. So be careful with that. Workers' comp insurance is illegal in Oklahoma too. Yep. Workers' comp insurance is expensive. I don't care who you go through. It's going to cost you a lot of money. You may even, especially if you're a starter company, you're probably only going to be able to get your workers' comp insurance through state fund. State fund insurance. And state fund is expensive. I had them for a year. And trust and believe, I couldn't wait until that year was over. So that way I could move on to a better and cheaper company. State fund is ridiculous, man. You might as well just cut off your limbs, give them one of your kidneys and a lung and say, here you go. You know what I'm saying? That's how expensive they are. So, startup costs. Even if you get a government grant, you're still going to need some money. Now, what a lot of people don't think about when they open these security companies is this. You open your company. Let's say you're one of the lucky ones. You open your company and right off the bat, you got contracts. The day you get your license and your insurance, you got a contract to get started right then and there. Cool. But guess what? You're looking at 2 months before you see that paycheck. And in 2 months, how many bills you got to pay? How much is that going to cost you? 2 months. You need to have some money saved up. You need to have, I would say, to be on the safe side, you should have 3 months worth of money saved up for you to live off of, for you to pay your bills so you can eat, so you can work, so you can do everything you need to do. Because in most cases, what happens is you get a contract, you start that contract, and then typically what happens is you work 30 days. You work 30 days and you turn around and you bill your client. Well, when you bill that client, what happens? Typically on the invoice, it says due within 30 days. Well, you've already worked 30 days without getting paid. Now you invoice your client, and now you got to wait another 30 days. So you're looking at net 45 to net 60. 45 to 60 days before you see your first paycheck from that client. And now that's if you're lucky enough to start a contract right when you start your company. Yeah, if you could work a full-time job, like Michael's saying, that's perfect. If you can, I know, to save up 3 months worth of money to live off of, especially if you're already living kind of tight paycheck to paycheck, might be a little tough. Now, I mean, I've seen guys that'll go to a bank and get a bank loan and all of that. But just think about it. If you go and you pull a bank loan that's going to come with interest as well, these banks ain't going to give you money for free. It's not going to happen. They're going to want their piece out of it too. And you go to these big banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, all them places. Yeah, they might work with you if you got, top-notch credit. But let's be real. Ain't none of us got that top-notch credit. Everybody's living kind of tough. Some of you might. If you do, cool. But yeah, Thomas, that's a good idea. Invoicing at the beginning of the month. That's what I did as well. Now, I'll give you a tip that I should charge all y'all for. I'm going to tell you how you can invoice your client, how you can get paid twice a month from your client, and how you don't have to wait 30 days. How you don't have to wait 15 days. Hell, you ain't even got to wait 5 or 10 days. It's called invoice factoring. That's what I did. A lot of people were asking me like, well, how are you able to pay all your bills and pay your employees and never bounce a paycheck and all that? Invoice factoring. Excuse me. Invoice factoring is a company, or there's a business where they will purchase your invoices from you. From there, they verify those invoices to make sure that the client agrees with them on the invoices and that the client agrees to pay those invoices. Okay? So what happens is then at the invoice factoring company, if you find us got a good rate, they only charge me, what was it? 3%, I believe it was. So what they would do is they would purchase the invoice and they would fund me 90% of that invoice within 24 hours. And I would bill my clients twice a month. I bill them for the 1st through the 15th on the 16th. And then at the end of the month, I bill them from the 16th to the end of the month, whether it's a short month, long month, regular month, whatever. So I got paid twice, every 2 weeks pretty much, or twice a month. I got paid from my clients through the invoice factoring. Now here's another reason why you want to invoice factor. When you're starting out as a small business, you do not want to have to sit there and have your funds, caught up in a net 45, net 60, net 90 situation. You don't want that to happen. You need to get paid as quickly as possible. That's why I'm telling you to invoice factor, because you will get your money that much quicker. You need that money, especially if your business, your company is the sole provider, the sole thing that's bringing in your money. You need to get it as quick as possible. I will also put in the comments the invoice factoring company that I use. They're called Winston Financial. They work with all sizes of businesses. They work with security companies. They work with me all the time. They purchased invoices from me from as small as $250 up to invoices that I submitted for $15,000, $20,000. They will work with you. So they give you 90% up front. Then once the client turns around and pays the bill, they get that check from the client. Then they turn around and you get like another 3% or something like that. It's what's called a reserve fund. Now, if the client doesn't pay, another good reason why you want to invoice factor. If the client doesn't pay, the client is being late with paying. You have a third-party company that's in the middle of this. A company that is much larger than you are. You are, most of the time when you're first starting, it's just you. You know, it's you or one other person, or you or two other people. So you don't have the means to go and look for an attorney to go after these people. Your pockets are already stretched thin because you're just now starting. Invoice factor. These companies are large. They're backed by banks. They're backed by other large corporations. They have the means to go after folks. They have the means to send them nasty grams saying, hey, you owe us money. It's time to pay. And trust and believe when they get those nasty grams from companies that are much, much larger than yours, they realize that your company has more pull. And the minute they get that first nasty gram from that invoice factoring company, I can almost guarantee you that client will never be late again. Invoice factor. Do that. It's so much easier. You ain't got to worry about bouncing checks. You'll have your money. You can get going from there. Invoice factoring will also help out your startup costs. I can't stress this enough. I've seen guys make this mistake. You first start out, don't go buy or rent an office. You don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? Your car is your office. Your car is your office. Don't keep your overhead low. Keep it as low as possible. Be cheap. Okay? Now don't be super cheap, but live within your means is what I'm saying. If you're a small security company, don't go out and buy a fucking 2017 Dodge Charger. Okay? You can't afford that shit. You don't want that. When you get up to that point to where you can't afford it, hey, by all means, go buy the most tricked out patrol car you can find. But in the beginning, work with what you got. Uniforms Warehouse, they have a lot of good stuff that you can get on there at a reasonable rate. You just got to stay on top of them and make sure they get your order right. Winston Financial is the name of the invoice factoring company that I was just talking about. I'll put their info in the comments along with the other things I said I put in there when I get done. Company licensing through the state is vital to begin. Yeah, you got to be licensed. Get that license, because without that license, everything else you're doing, it ain't going to matter. Keep your overhead low. Uniforms Warehouse, I'm going to tell you, you can turn any vehicle that you have into a patrol car. It don't matter. If you can use a Prius to do patrol, then you can turn any other car you have, your personal vehicle, into a patrol car. Better yet, use your personal vehicle in the beginning as a patrol car. Why? Because it's a tax write-off. You can write all that shit off. All that shit, man. You can write it all off. Hold on, let's see. Where did the company you and I work for go wrong? Thomas, what went wrong with that company that you and I were working for? You know, this is going to make it sound like I got a big head, but plain and simple, dude just did not listen to me. You know what I'm saying? All he wanted to do was go for like the big, huge contracts. You can't go for the big, huge contracts all the time. I'm not saying that, you know, not to aim for them, but when you're a small company that's a year or less old, you can't go after a military housing contract. You can't. Because there's companies like G4S, which is the company that has it now, okay, are going after those kind of accounts. For those of you that don't know, military housing is a major contract for a security company. They pay millions. It's a contract that's worth millions. You got to have resources to do that. He didn't want to listen. You know, don't try to get rich off of one account. You want to get rich off of several accounts. Several accounts. Look down here at my notes. All right, so before I start talking about different things, let me get into bidding and contracting and everything else like that. I know that's what a lot of y'all wanted to know, is how I went about doing it. Having an accountant does make things easier. Again, that's an overhead expense, unless it's somebody that you know. I'm speaking out here specifically to people who are just starting out. who or people who are looking to get started, keep that overhead low. Now, when you're bidding accounts, even with you being a small company, don't play these bullshit number games. That is what's killing the industry right now. That's what's killing the industry. If the account is worth $1,000 a month, here, I'll give you an example. This is part of the shit I got sick of, and part of why I said I'm ready to retire from the shit and why I was done with it. Patrol accounts typically, for the most part, range between, at the lowest end, the absolute lowest, from $500 a month to $1,000 is the average. I've had patrol accounts that were worth way more than that, but that's about the average. What you want to do is figure out what you're worth. Figure out what your time is worth. Don't let these other companies that are playing number games drag you into a battle with money. Because they'll do that shit. They'll do that. I've had contracts that I walked away from. Yeah, did I want them? Hell yeah, I wanted that contract. Did I want to walk away from it? No, I want to walk away from it. But is all money good money? Hell no. Hell no. Especially when you know that account is worth $1,000. You got to remember, when you go to bid account, you got to look at, what is this account going to cost me? Okay? What is this account going to cost me every month? Because there's going to be overhead on every account. No matter how much you keep your overhead down low, every account's going to cost you money. If it's a patrol account, it's going to cost you fuel. It's going to cost you, fuel. It's going to cost you insurance, everything else. Every account has overhead. Don't let these bullshit ass companies that are out here bait you into a number game. Because see, what happens is you bid it at $1,000 a month. The next guy comes in, he'll bid it at $500 a month. Then the next guy comes in and he bids it at $250 a month. Then the last petty son bitch that comes in to bid that account, he fucking bids it at $125. So now this account that started at $1,000 a month is way down here at $125. That's not worth your time. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. You guys can't get baited into that. That's why a lot of small companies fail. That's why a lot of these security companies, they fail, because they fall victim to that. Now, if you say, like, you go ahead and you take the bait, you take that contract for $125 a month. Okay? It's a patrol account. You're doing 3 patrol hits a night. There's an average of 30.5 days. You average it between long months and short months. The best number to work with is 30.5. Okay? You take $25 and you divide it by 30.5. And that's how much money you're going to be making a day on that account. A day. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out what the account is worth. Don't let these guys bait you into that. Drop all on them. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that you can't finagle the price a little bit. Of course you do that. The key to it is, when you bid the accounts, bid it a little bit higher than what you want. Because you know there's going to be other people bidding. You know that customer is going to be looking for other folks to turn around and bid on that account as well. So they're going to be getting all these bids. That's when you do your research. That's when you go back, you check with them. Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to see if you had a chance to look over my bid and if we can discuss it. Oh, well, yeah, another company came in and they said they could bid it at this price. Well, you already started a little higher than what you wanted anyway. So it gives you some room to finagle. But you got to find your bottom line. You got to sit down and do the math and figure out how much all this stuff's going to cost you and get to the bottom line. Now, you do not want to bid accounts to the point to where you're breaking even. Because breaking even in security is just like operating in the red. You ain't making no money. You don't break even with any business, but especially a security business. You're not going to be able to grow if you're breaking even. All right? So typically what I did is you figure out a number on what you worth. So let's say if you're worth $20 an hour, then you want to work around that number. You bid at $45 an hour. $45 an hour. Okay, Thomas, so you say you bid at 45. So is that for armed, unarmed, patrol, or what? When I bid accounts, that's the other thing. When you bid stationary accounts, standing accounts, unless the client specifically comes to you and says, I want an armed guard, don't mention that. You know, when you write the contract, you put in there that, you know, this person, the officer that's going to be showing up, you know, could be an armed or unarmed person. Now, let me tell you the reason why you want to do that. If you run all of your accounts armed, let me tell you this. Are you going to trust everybody that comes to you to carry a gun under your insurance wearing your patches that you don't know? Look at it that way. The responsibility that you're putting on a person to carry a firearm onto a post by themselves, you know what I'm saying? You don't know. Personally, me, if I don't know you and you haven't proven yourself with me, you weren't carrying a gun working for me. And if it was a post that absolutely required a firearm, then I'd work it myself. Or I'd send somebody that I know, that I trust, ain't gonna go postal and shoot the fucking place up. You know what I'm saying? So again, you know, I can throw numbers out here all day long when it comes to bidding accounts, but every area is going to change because every area has its own, it's got its own overhead costs. You know, fuel costs, insurance costs, all that stuff changes. It changes by every place you go. Now, there's another thing that you want to look at too is this Compliance Depot. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of this company. Go to their website or Google it, Compliance Depot. Google that. It is free for you to get signed up with Compliance Depot. They do not cost you any, they don't charge you any money to get signed up and get a vendor number with them. What Compliance Depot is just a third-party vendor that checks and verifies that the vendors that are doing work on these properties, on the client's properties, are properly licensed, they are properly insured, they're good to go, okay? Now, here's the beauty with Compliance Depot. Say you get signed up with them, right? And then you turn around and you give them a call and you say, hey, I want to do business with XYZ Property Management, right? Well, XYZ Property Management is a customer in Compliance Depot, right? So what Compliance Depot will do is they're going to charge you, at that point, they're going to charge you $100 every year to work with XYZ Property Management. Now, that doesn't mean that because XYZ Property Management has 100 properties, you're going to be paying $100 for each property. No, it's just $100 for the entire property management company and their network of properties under that management company. Now, the reason why you want to get on with Compliance Depot is because 90% of the good accounts that you want to go after are all under Compliance Depot. All of them are. You want to definitely get signed up. That doesn't cost you any money. From there, once you pay the $100 a year to do business with that specific XYZ Property Management, guess what? Now you've become an approved vendor for XYZ Property Management and all of their properties that are listed under them. So if XYZ, like I said, has 100 properties, now you are an approved vendor for all 100 properties under that one property management company. And it even gets better. Check this out. Compliance Depot will send you a list of all of the properties under XYZ Property Management for you to go and market. And then you go to them and say, hey, guess what? I'm already an approved vendor with Compliance Depot. Everybody else that's sitting there throwing their bids in there have all just been swept off the desk. Oh, you're on there with Compliance Depot? Okay, you're good to go. Chances are you'll land a shitload more contracts. Again, do your research. You know, call other security companies. Now, you know, y'all probably gonna be calling each other like, hey, what the fuck you charge? Call other security companies. Pretend that you are a property owner or a property management company looking to get a bid for a property. Call several security companies and do that shit. I did that shit all the time. All the time. I would change the name of my company to every time I called a different security company to figure out just exactly how much they're charging, what they're going to bid. Now, you figure out who's the highest, who's the lowest, and you want to come in right there in the middle. Being the lowest bidder does not necessarily mean that you're going to get the contract, because clients will also look at that like, well, you're the lowest, so why should I go with you? What kind of service am I going to get? They're going to look at you like that. They wonder why you're coming in so low. So being the lowest is not always the best. Not always the best at all. Compliance Depot is, like I said, the best way to go through with getting different contracts. Also, you want to join all these different associations. Like, Michael, I know you were asking me before about how to land more contracts. Join these associations. There's apartment associations. There's construction associations. Pretty much for everything that's out there, every line of work, there's some kind of association. Join them. You join those associations, you'll go from a small company to a big ass company like that, because they all want to do business within their same network. Join their network. You can't beat them. You got to join them in this instance. Join these associations. That is a good way to get your company name out there. Where's my company located? I own a security company in San Diego, California. I have since sold the company, sold off all my contracts. So right now I'm just dropping knowledge and telling folks how I went about doing the business that I did before I got sick of doing security and sold off everything and came out here to Arizona to chill. But join these associations. Do that. Those associations, man, you won't believe how many people you will meet. You go to an apartment association, you join their little gig. You go to the first meeting, and I can't tell you how many managers you'll meet. I can't tell you. Alpaca Contracts, what is a good resource to have to review your contract and make sure they are legit? You know what? You could use things as simple as LegalZoom for reviewing your contracts, honestly. There are like prepaid legal. You can get a prepaid legal plan, have them go over and look at your contracts and everything. It's a small fee that you'll pay, and they'll go ahead and they'll check out your contracts to make sure that they are compliant. Honestly, you can, like I said, you can go through LegalZoom or other places like that have generic contracts which are ironclad. I found a California compliant contract, and I just changed it around a little bit. I just changed it around a little bit. That's all I did. Added a few things to it, took out a couple things, turned around, used prepaid legal, sent it to them, had them look at it, they gave me the stamp approval, and I turned around and used it. Now, here's the deal. When you're doing your contracts, it's not just the contract that you should have signed. Yeah, there's a lot of, you want to have the contract, but at the same time, you need, what I used was a letter of authorization. Okay, so my contract had all the verbiage in there that a person needed, that the client needed to know. Everything, whether it was armed, unarmed, all the services that are going to be offered, talk about collections, you talk about when payments are due, you talk about confidentiality. All that stuff is real basic. You'll find that if you, like someone said, Google it. You can find that kind of stuff online real easily. But the letter of authorization was something that I created myself. Now, what that letter of authorization basically was another sheet that was attached to the contract. And then what I did is I had lines next to specific services that the client had the initial next to. Okay, so it's like, say, for example, you want me to do parking enforcement on your property. So you're authorizing me to issue parking warnings, have vehicles removed via tow truck company, all this other stuff. If you want me to do that, okay, cool. Initial next to here authorizing me to do parking enforcement. Okay, you want me to detain people for, XYZ reasons. Okay, initial next to here authorizing me to detain folks. Every service that the client wants you to do, you list that down there, and you have them initial next to each one. Don't do a checkbox, because a checkbox, that's not going to stand up in court. Anybody could say, "Oh, well, he checked that off. I didn't check that off. I didn't want them to do that," and then they pass the blame back off up on you if some kind of liability comes up. You have them initial next to each one. Then you get down into the bottom of the form. They print their name, they sign their name, they date it. And then you do the same thing. Print, sign, date. So that way, if you got to go to court for any reason and they try to pass the buck on anything, nope, hand the judge that form, boom. Have your contract number, the contract that you sign with them. All your contracts should have a contract number. Every page of your contract needs to have a corresponding contract number. The letter of authorization that you put together to go with that contract up there, it needs to have the same corresponding contract number to go with it. So that way, if for whatever reason any of the pages get separated from each other, the contract number is there. How did you like to contract the company we were? They were all right. They were all right. They were pretty decent, but me, I like to cover everything, and I still feel like a lot of things were left out. And I think that's part of the reason why he got screwed a little bit. A lot of clients went off without paying him, and he was kind of left without the resources of being able to go after them, because a contract wasn't really ironclad like it should have been. It's unfortunate, but hey, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, right? That's pretty much how that goes. So we've covered a lot of different things. The next thing I want to tell y'all about that really made my company stand out more than my competitors, technology. There are so many software companies out here these days where handwritten reports shouldn't even be done at all. The only thing that really should be handwritten is if you're putting a parking warning, not a citation. You're putting a parking warning on a vehicle that's parked illegally, improperly, whatever. Other than that, everything else should be documented electronically. Now, here's the reason why. When, in most cases, clients and yourself, as a security company, you got to keep all those documents, all those reports and everything for X amount of years. So if you're doing handwritten reports that are carbon copied or whatever the case may be, think about it. If you've got file cabinet after file cabinet after file cabinet in your office or at your home office or whatever that's full of paperwork, think about what the client has got on top of the paperwork they have to do for their business. Now they got your paperwork. Do you use any apps for scheduling log? Yes. There are several of them, actually. Whentowork.com is a good one. It's cheap, and I believe they give you a 30-day trial in the beginning. 30 days free, where you can try it out. Whentowork.com will allow you to set up your schedules. It allows the employees to go in and check their schedules. And it will also send you alerts telling you that they've seen their schedule. They verified their schedule. You can turn around and send those schedules, link them together with your payroll company. It's like clockwork. You ain't got to do very much. You just have an app for your phone. Oh, see, I didn't even know they have an app. It's been a while since I used it. That's good. I'm glad they got an app. That make it easier. Has glitches. We were using it. Yeah, all software's got glitches. That's true. I mean, now the other thing I used was Activity Suite. Activity Suite. Honestly, all my clients love that software. It was literally a standalone software that allowed me to put in schedules, allowed officers to write their reports, everything. It was very easy. Come down to it in the shift. The system will turn around and generate everything that was put into it into a nice PDF formatted form. And then you turn around and you hit the send button. You can even schedule a damn thing to do it on its own automatically. And it creates the PDF, and boom, it emails it to the client. You can add pictures, you can add videos, you can set up your own drop-down menus to however you wanted it to be. The clients loved that. They loved it. You know what I'm saying? It was easy. I mean, even if you've got some of the older cats out here who are so, techie, could use Activity Suite. I know, because I trained a few of them myself on how to use Activity Suite. And when they saw how simple it was to use, they were like, shit, yeah, it's really that simple. This report does everything for you, from clocking in and out, incident reports, parking file. Okay, so let me ask you about officerreport.com. How much does that cost you, though? How much does it cost you? Activity Suite was a flat rate of $99 per month. $99 per month. And if you go to Activity Suite on their website, you ain't even got to talk to nobody. If you go on their website, www.activitysuite.com, activitysuite.com, you can go in there and you can set yourself up for a free trial on Activity Suite for 30 days. Cost nothing. Cost you nothing. After that, it's $99 per month. $99 per month after that. For permit your clients to see your activities. Do you give a permit? Do I give a permit for my clients to see my activities? No, my clients, they just got the reports. I mean, you pay per site. Yeah, that could get expensive, man. Especially if you got a lot of sites. $99 a month with Activity Suite, and it don't matter how many sites you have in there. You can have 100 site locations on there. The price ain't gonna change. It's not gonna change at all. It doesn't matter how many guards you have or officers, staff, whatever. It don't matter how many people you have on it. It doesn't matter how many sites you have on it. It's $99 per month, period. That's it. And it works well enough. It works well enough. Now, there's other fancy systems out there. There's a lot of fancy little systems out there. What was one that has the Atom 602? No, Activity Suite. Like, you're doing an activity and then Suite. Sam Union, Ida, Tom. I haven't used that phonetic alphabet in a while. You can tell I've been out for super quick. Shit, what was I saying? Adam 602. Who it's on the tongue. Yeah, you can get alloneword.com and it'll come up. It comes up as a California. It says California security guard reporting system. But like I said, you can customize all your drop-down menus, so it doesn't matter if you're in California or not. You can use it wherever you are. It doesn't matter. If I was opening up shop here in Arizona, I would use it. Destiny Patrol software. That's what I was thinking of. I used that for a year. It was nice. But it was also really expensive. Keep your overhead low. ActivitySuite.com, $99 a month. Use it. It's so much easier. Will going to dinner with your client be considered a conflict of interest? No. Why would it be a conflict of interest? I mean, I guess it depends. What are you going to dinner with your client for? I mean, y'all doing a little, something on the side, little cuddy buddy stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or is it a business dinner? You got to remember, you go to dinner with your client, save that bill. You write off at the end of the year. That's a business expense. So I don't see why it'd be a conflict of interest. I mean, if you're dating your client, that could be a conflict of interest. But that's between y'all two. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all consenting adults. So, it's really on y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, At the same time, you start dating one of your clients and shit don't work out in the personal area, and then she turn around and want to fuck you on the business side of it too. Gotta keep that in mind as well. Also, when you're writing your contracts, you want to make sure that you cover that as well, because some clients will try to get out of their contracts. Now, you got to make sure they understand that there's penalties for them getting out of, terminating their contract just because. Now, if you're fucking up and not holding up your side of the contract, you remember they can terminate that contract because you are failing to hold your side of it. You're not holding up to your end of the deal. They can terminate the contract and it's done. Now, same thing with them. If your client doesn't pay you, okay, part of the whole deal is your client, they have to pay you for the services that you're offering. The services that you're rendering day in, day out, nighttime, patrol, standing, alarm response, call response. It doesn't matter. Whatever they're contracting you for, there is a contract. If there is a term length on that contract, they must see it through. They must see it through. It's just like if you, like back in the day when you went and bought a fucking cell phone. You had to keep that cell phone for that entire term length. What happened if you canceled that shit before the term was over? They want to turn around, bend you over, and rape you. Like, oh, well, you got to pay this. Well, you got to do the same thing to your client. Same damn thing. For the vendor approval, that is Compliance Depot, Nathan. Compliance Depot. Just like Home Depot, but compliance instead of home. Check that out, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. It is great to get on Compliance Depot. That will definitely help you out. That will definitely help you out. Excellent. Transfer your video to my students unit. Nah, you can go ahead and use it, Ricardo, man. I'm putting it up here. I ain't charging nobody for this one. So if you want to put it up there so your students can check it out, do so. The whole point of Men and Women in Security, the reason why this group even opened is so we can help each other out. But between the drama and the bullshit, then we got stagnant, then they got the selfies. I'm trying to get us back to our roots. I'm on their website now. Yeah, check out their website, man. That's definitely a good thing. Let me get back to my notes here so I can stay on track. So we're talking about technology. I brought up Activity Suite. That's just one of several different reporting systems that you can use for your security company that is budget friendly. It is user friendly. It is definitely something that will work out for you. Handwritten reports, that's done. Don't do that shit because your clients ain't going to want all that fucking paperwork. They're not going to want that. My bullshit fee. Okay, so I was talking about this earlier and people were like, bullshit fee? What's a bullshit fee? All right. So let's say you go out and you bid an account, right? And you're let's say it's between your company and another company. And the client decides to go with the other guy because they came in a little bit cheaper than you or whatever the case may be. She liked that motherfucker smile better than yours. Whatever. So they go with the other guy. So let's say X amount of time into the contract with the other guy, he fucks it up. And he's making shit worse. He's not solving the problems. He could even create a problem. Dumb motherfucker don't know what he's doing. He bit off more than he can chew. The client is pissed. Like, I should have went with the other guy. Let me give him a call. All right, check this out. You bidded that account at $1,000 a month. The other guy came in and said he bid it at half, $500. She went with him. Now, he fucked it up. Now she's coming back to you like, hey, I need you to come in here and fix it. Okay, cool. I'll come in and fix it. No problem. But guess what? It's going to cost you more money. Why? Because now I got to come in and clean up this motherfucker's bullshit. If you would have went with me in the first fucking place, you wouldn't be in this situation. But no, you got to be a cheap son of a bitch thinking that because you saving a little bit of money that, oh, it's going to work out. You get what the fuck you pay for. And make sure your clients know that. When they start looking at going with the cheap asshole, okay, well, look at it this way. You going with this asshole that's bidding that small ass amount of money. Think about what the fuck the guard's going to get paid. He's going to be getting paid minimum wage, if that. So if the guard's getting paid minimum wage, if that, if it ain't some under the table motherfucker that's barely not even making fucking minimum wage, what the fuck do you think that fucking guard is gonna do for your property? Now, you may not want to say it like that to your client, but listen to what I'm saying. If you're only getting paid, like there's some places where minimum wage ain't $10 an hour, where minimum wage may be only $8 an hour. You get stuck on this fucked up property. You getting paid $8 an hour to deal with gang members, to deal with prostitution, to deal with shots being fired, to deal with breaking and entering, burglary, car theft, all kind of crazy shit. Yeah, Michael, they sleeping. They ain't gonna be out there dealing with that shit. How many of y'all, man, tell me right now, how many of y'all will go out to a post that's dangerous as fuck for $8 an hour and put your life on the line for $8? Even if that is maybe the only job you can get, I can tell you right now, you can go flip burgers at McDonald's and make $8 an hour and ain't gotta worry about getting shot. So they went with this cheap ass company, putting that $8 an hour guard out there. Even if minimum wage is $10, okay, well, minimum wage is $10, that means the cost of living in the area is probably a tad bit more than other places that are $7, $8 an hour. Bottom line, getting paid minimum wage to do security is bullshit. Unless you're working something stupid, like, or simple, like, you know, a construction site. You know what I'm saying? If you're sitting on a construction site where you're literally watching concrete dry to make sure them little bastards down the street don't come down there and want to tag their dumbass name in the fucking wet concrete. All right, cool. I see you getting paid minimum wage to do that. You can hire a dumbass to do that. But when it comes to what I call more specialized things, dealing with gang members and everything else, that is not a minimum wage job. So that's where my bullshit fee comes into play. You hired the cheaper guy. Now you're going to come in and you want to hire the right guy. Okay, here I am. Guess what? I bid it at $1,000. Now, I want 11. Maybe 12. Why? Because you wasted my time. I came out here to your property. I walked around your property, did a threat assessment on your property, told you all the weaknesses of your property, told you where your lights are out, told you all the shit that's going on around your property, suggested the kind of services that you need on your property, all for you to go with a cheaper guy who probably didn't even do a quarter of the threat assessment that I did just because he's cheaper. Now I'm more expensive. I ain't no cheap hoe. No, it's going to cost you some money. Make sure you get what you're worth. Don't let people waste your time. Because if, you know, naturally you can't charge someone for a bid. I mean, you could, but you probably won't get nobody that wants your bids. But when they come back begging for you because they realize they made a mistake, you charge them. Now, don't charge them some outrageous thing. You know, if you bid $1,000, don't turn around and tell them now it's $2,000. Because they'll probably tell you to go fuck yourself. They'll probably tell you to go kill yourself. They'll probably tell you fall down a flight of stairs or go play in traffic. Because, yeah, bad way. A couple $100, couple $100, they can deal with that. And it's worth it. It's worth it. You know, it's worth it for you. So, I call it a bullshit fee because you wasted my time. So, you can call it what you want. That's just what I call it. Off topic, what was the website for the billing the clients? The name of the company was called Winston Financial. Winston Financial. They are a invoice factoring company. I'm trying to remember where they're based out of. It really it doesn't matter. They're an invoice factoring company. You pretty much deal with them primarily online. Internet, you go through their email, all kind of stuff like that. That's what you would use for your invoice factoring. That is important. Get your money. Get your money. See, it wouldn't get my attention. Hell nah, Joseph, I'm with you. It would not get my attention either. When people offer me $10 an hour jobs, fuck that shit. I ain't getting my black ass out of bed. Fuck that, man. I ain't even move a leg from up underneath my blanket. $10 an hour? You keep that. You keep that and go find some dumb motherfucker to go work that post at that price. I like to watch real videos on duty. Day business. You know what? I gotta go through my SD card, record my SD card, but I have a lot of footage of on duty stuff that I have done with my company. Man, we got a lot of footage, a lot of crazy shit. I will help with live videos. Cool, man. Yeah, come on through. You could do the live videos. I'm all for anybody that want to hop on here and share any knowledge they may have with the security industry to help out the next guy. Covered invoice factor. Okay, let me talk about staff a little bit more. Now, when you're opening your security company, keep in mind this. Yeah, your guards need to have a guard card. Your officers, your guards, whatever, they got to have a permit to work security in most places. I've already covered earlier in this video of places that don't require you to have licenses, but in most places they do require you to have licenses. Here's the deal. It's worked out good in my favor in the past where I have hired folks who did not have guard cards, whether it was working directly for me or working for a company that I was in charge of as the operations manager, as the second guy in charge, just of the owner. I don't know if he's still in here. I don't know if he's still in here. A lot of people have come and gone on this feed. I said I don't know if he's still in here, but I'll use him as an example. I brought him on when I was working for another security company. He had no security experience at all. None. Never worked a day in his life doing any type of security. Nothing. I brought him on. I trained him so he could get his guard card, get his permits. He got his licenses, everything from his guard card to all the mandatory boring classes you got to take. Baton permit, firearm, taser, all that stuff. Put him on post, showed him what's up, taught him how to clear rooms, taught him how to make contact with people, taught him how to deal with difficult people, taught him how to write reports, just turned him into a full-on professional security officer. And like I said, he didn't have a permit. He had no experience in security. Now he's got a real good position, making good money. So keep in mind, when you hire people coming from other security companies, just because they have X amount of years of experience doesn't necessarily mean they're the best guys to choose. And the reason for that is they come with fucking bad habits. Oh, well, my last company, I did this. Well, my last company, I did that. We did things like this. We did things like that. Well, why the fuck ain't you over there at that company anymore? You talking about your last company and what you did over there and how they did things, and you over here with my fucking patch on talking about what you did over there. I don't give a fuck what you did over there. This is what you're going to do over here. Keep that in mind when you're hiring folks. Because they will do that shit. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to do this my way. Nah, you ain't going to do it your way. You got my patches on. You going to do it my way. That saying my way or the highway? Yeah. You got to be strict. You got to be strict. The security industry has such a high turnover rate, it's ridiculous. The turnover rate is high. So look for people like community colleges. Go to your local community college. Print up some little basic, low-cost flyer, that you can do at home, at your desk with your own printer. You ain't got to go to Kinko's or Office Depot and shit like that. Just do it at home. Go put up a flyer at your community college. See how many people respond to it. I guarantee you'll get a decent amount of people. Now, if you are going to, or if you use Craigslist, be careful. Be careful. Because there's so many horror stories about that shit. If you're going to use Craigslist, be careful. So yeah, look for the college kids. Maybe look for a middle-aged guy or woman. Someone that needs the money. They going to work for you. They hungry. Find somebody that's hungry that want to work for you. You got guys that jump from company to company to company. That's not always a good thing either. If I look at your resume and you done worked at 5 different security companies in the last 2 years, I'm gonna be wondering what's going on, man. Ain't no stability with you. Why is that? Let's see. Let me go over my notes some more. I think, man, I covered. Um, did any of y'all? My phone's only showing there's only 4 people left in here. Did any of y'all got any questions? Those of you that are in there, is there anything I didn't cover, or something that you would like me to speak more on? Um, his live feed is probably going pretty long right now at this point. Uh, but yeah. Any questions, comments, statements, anything at all? Running a security company can be great, but it's a pain in the ass. And you got to be up and willing to really put your life aside to run the business. If you're not willing to put your life aside to run the business, then the business is going to fall. You know, you got to hustle. That's just what it is. Don't give up either. Man, you're going to run into some tough times. Trust, man. My wife would tell you, man, there's been a few times where I was like, man, fuck this shit. I'm done. You know? It's going to get on your nerves. But it's worth it, though. If you really work hard at it, it's worth it. When I hit my peak with my business, I was bringing home net after expenses $10,000 a month. How you think I'm able to sit here on my ass like this in Arizona? I go out and drive tow truck, you know, here and there just to kind of stay active and get some exercise in. But you know what I'm saying? It's worth it. When I sold my business, sold all my contracts and everything, I cleaned up. Then you do the same thing. You can open a security business, or if you have your security business, you can grow it and then say, you know what, fuck this, I'm sick of it. And then you turn around and you can sell off everything, the assets, everything. Oh, you know, that actually, you know, speaking of assets, it actually made me think about something else. When you name your security company, name it something where people know it's a fucking security company. All right, I mean, I know there's only 3 people in here, but when I get finished, I know I'm going to post it up, so I know a lot of people are going to be watching this on their free time. They couldn't make it live. Name your security company where people know that it's a fucking security company. I ain't seen companies, like, for example, there's a company I saw, I think it's in Texas, and it's named SWAT. What the fuck you gonna name your company SWAT for? SWAT what? You know, and then there's another company that's called PD Agency down south somewhere. Okay, let me tell you. Security and law enforcement, we're real close to each other. We are real close to each other as far as images go, you know. But the thing is security and law enforcement are 2 different things. Law enforcement is paid by the government. Security is paid by private clients. It is a privatized industry. It is not a government job that is paid by the government. When you roll around in your patrol cars, okay, mark them to say security. Your patrol cars are rolling billboards. You got to keep that in mind. Yeah, include the word security in there. Exactly. You know, my company name, it didn't have the word security in it. It was Interceptor Protection Specialist, but protection specialist, that says security all fucking day long. But your vehicles are a rolling billboard. And in essence, it's damn near free advertisement. You put your company name all plastered as big as you can down the side of that thing, the front of it, the back of it, your company name, the license number. Make sure you put your license number on the car. Okay? Make sure you put your license number on there, especially if you're in California. Put the license number on the car. You will get screwed. Your website and your phone number. Make it to where people know how to contact with you. Make it to where it is easily seen. You know, even make the markings reflective. So at night when lights hit those markings, boom, they stand out. In order for a security company to survive, it's a matter of people knowing that you're out there. Like for example, I would say advertisement will open your business. Word of mouth is what keeps it open. Okay? And if you're rolling around here looking like the police, go play in traffic, please. Just take the uniform off. Just take it off. Just don't even fucking do it. You want to ride around here looking like the police, acting like the police, and all this other shit. All you're doing is making it worse for the guys that are out here that are truly trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a cop, cool. Take your ass to the police academy and stop fucking around out here in a security uniform playing cop. You don't need that shit. Mark your cars. Make sure that they're easily seen, because it'll do everything for you. Now, I'm not saying you can't go and buy, Crown Victoria. I got 2 of them. I got 2 Crown Victorias and I got my Charger. I still got all 3 vehicles. Just mark them correctly. You know what I'm saying? Just mark them correctly. Shit, I think I covered Compliance Depot. Does anybody have any more questions about gaining and maintaining accounts? Make sure when you do get your accounts, make sure you establish and keep an established relationship with your clients. Keep an open line of communication. Even if it's through email, that's fine. Email, text message, whatever. Just keep an open line of communication. Don't assume because you haven't heard anything that everything is fine. Don't assume that, because that's how shit will end up happening, where you end up losing your account and you don't even know why. How would I approach a new potential client? That actually reminded me of something that I actually wanted to bring up. Now, remember what I said earlier in this video about do your research? Now, what I did in San Diego is I looked up the crime reports in the areas that I knew I was going to be marketing. I would look up the crime stats, and I would see what the biggest problem is in the area. Now, mind you, I patrolled and I specialized in cleaning up bad properties. So I would use the crime report. I would print it out and have it in a binder with me when I go out to approach clients. I'd introduce myself, hand them my business card, brochure, and just kind of give them a brief overview of your company, of who you are, what your company is about, and what you can do to help them. If they seem open to it, then keep working into it. I would put down that binder and I'd show them like, hey, did you know that in the last 30 days, it's been this many burglaries in your area? Or did you know in the last 30 days, this many vehicles have been broken into in this area? And I'd show them crime reports within a 2-mile radius of their property, where I'd show them the map, and then I show them a list of all the crimes that have happened, broken down from misdemeanor to felony. And when I showed that, a lot of them didn't even know. They're like, I know this stuff going on. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. Let's see. How do you acquire a security license and number? Is that a requirement? A security license is a requirement to 90% of the United States. Daniel, let me ask you, what state are you in? Because it really depends on what state you're in. In most cases, in order to get a security company license, you got to have so much prior experience before they'll give it to you. They're not going to just give Joe Blow a security company license. It doesn't work that way. They want you to know what you're doing. Now, if you're talking about just getting started in the security industry in general, we could look into that. You just need to get a guard card. Most of the time, they just want you to take a 40-hour class on the basics of security, do your background, and you're good to go. Crime reports, how many days back? 30, 60, 120. I usually try to stick around 30 days. The more recent the crime report is, the better. Because if you show them something that's 60 or 120 days back, they're not going to really pay too much attention to that. They're going to be like, well, that happened way back then. It may be resolved by now. But you show them crime reports within the last 30 days, they're going to be like, oh, shit. Yeah. You know? Now, here's the other thing. If you have your eye on a specific property that you want to go and market, that you want to do business with, then take the time to assess the property. You know, drive by it at night. Check it out. Now, you know, don't be loitering, don't be trespassing, but drive by it and see what you can see. You know, just passing through. And go from there. You let your clients know, like, hey, you know, I drove here last night, and what prompted me to stop to come and talk to you is I saw that you had several lights out around your property. And, you know, all these burglaries and auto thefts and crimes that are happening in your area, with you having so many dark areas around your property without adequate protection, you know, your customers, your excuse me, your residents are going to fall victim to this. You know, you really got to know what's going on around the area when you're selling security. It's vitally important for you to know what's going on around the area. If you don't know what's going on out there, you know, you're just kind of going in blind, you know. Now, you can cold call, you can go out and drop off brochures. That's another way you could do it. Go in, you know, hi, my name is Ray. I own IPS Security here in San Diego. I just wanted to stop by and drop off a brochure, my business card to you, just in case you're ever in the market for security protection. You know, I'm here. Keep me in mind. You know, and I ask them, you know, can I ask you, do you have a security company that you're using? And they'll say, oh, well, yes or no. They say yes. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good. Are you happy with the current services that you're providing? And usually when you look them in the eye and you ask that question, whether they verbally respond to it or not, you can tell. If they're happy, they're going to be on it. Yes, I'm very happy. We are not in the market right now, but we'll keep your info on file. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Do a follow-up in 90 days. Set a reminder in your Google Calendar or whatever. 90 days, do a follow-up at XYZ property to see, you know. Then after that, you go back 90 days, you get the same response. They're still super happy. 180 days, you know. You don't want to come back too quickly, because then it's like you're harassing them. And at that point, they're going to be like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Don't come back. Also, too, if you're able to do this is a very limited thing. Another thing I did to look for leads for contracts is I listened to the police scanner. I listened to the San Diego police scanner like clockwork. While I'm driving around marketing, I'd have the police scanner going in the background. And I listen for crimes that are happening on properties that are marketable. For example, shopping centers I had where I kept hearing calls about homeless people harassing the customers that are there. San Diego PD saying this is a chronic issue. Officers have been out at times in the last 30 days. I'm thinking in my head like they need security. Yep. And look at it this way. Think outside the box. Think outside the box. Here's an example of thinking outside the box. Everybody goes after the same. Everybody goes after parties. Everybody goes after shopping centers. Everybody goes after the school district to get the account to do the special events, the sporting events, the dances, all that shit. This is another thing I did too. Single family home patrol. And what is that? That is literally patrolling houses. Houses. People's houses. You go to people's houses, like for example, when I was in San Diego, I had that program going. Single family home patrol. Where our homeowners would pay anywhere from $20 to $50 a month for patrol. Depending on how many they want. From 1 to 3. Now you may say, Ray, how are you only charging them $20 to $50 a month for patrol? Well, look at it this way. Do the math. You go through a neighborhood and there's 300, 400, 500 houses in that one neighborhood. You multiply that by 20. How much money are you making just off of that one neighborhood? You can put one guy in one car to patrol that neighborhood. That's something that you would make money off of after you've got more accounts. It's not a get rich quick thing where you can make a shitload of money off of one account. But you're not supposed to do that in business anyway. You don't get rich off of one account. You get rich off of a lot of accounts. You currently work for IPS? No, I don't work for IPS anymore. I sold it. I sold all the accounts when I moved out here to Arizona. I just didn't feel like being bothered with it anymore. That's why I'm telling everybody else my trade secrets and stuff that I had done. Security is just not my thing right now. But it was very successful. Very successful. I mean, it was definitely something I don't regret doing. But yeah, single family on patrol. Go to realty companies. You know, people that are selling houses. Okay, you go to them because I tell you right now, they're the ones that have the biggest problem with people squatting in those vacant houses and those vacant shopping center buildings. They will pay you to clear them out. They will pay you to patrol it. Now, they're not going to pay you to stand on it because that's too much money. Stationary is a lot of money. A lot of big companies only want large accounts. Exactly, Eddie. Now, that's a good point. Now, I'll bring this up. Look, all these big companies are going after these big accounts. Now, here you are, the small fish, right? Nickel and dime your ass to the top. That's all you got to do. Nickel and dime your way to the top. You know? If you think about it, if you got these big companies going after these big accounts, you know, when you're the small fish, it's going to be hard for you to battle with these big guys because they're well established. They got deep pockets. They got all this flashy and fancy shit. You know what I'm saying? The clients are going to go with them because they've been around for a while. They're a recognized brand. You're not. But the smaller companies, the smaller contracts, you can go for. And they will do business with you because they don't give a fuck about the big guys. The small guys ain't going to want to do business with the big guys because chances are they probably can't afford the big guys. And the big guys don't really want the small accounts anyway. That's why they gave them some bullshit high-ass price. That way, if the small guy says, okay, yeah, I'll pay that money, then the big guy's like, okay, cool, well, shit, since you're willing to pay this outrageous price, we'll go ahead and give you the services. But 9 times out of 10, small guys want that. You got to work your way up to the top. Now, look, you start out small, you work your way up big. Now, when you get to the top of the ladder, you get to the top of the food chain, don't forget about the small accounts you have here. Keep servicing them. You know why? Because the one thing you're still getting from them, even though if they're not giving you as much money as this big government contract you have, they're still talking positively about your business. Because they saw that you've gotten all the way up here to the top and you still giving them good service. They'll turn around. You don't know who they talk to. You don't know who they know. You don't know who in their family works for who or is in charge of what. So don't blow off your beginner contracts because you got a big one or because you got several big ones. That's what these big ass companies have done. And a lot of them have screwed themselves. Don't do that to yourself. You get these small ones, you keep them. Nickel and dime your way up to the top. You know, shit. If you take $500 a month contracts, and you keep a low overhead, and it's 10 patrol accounts typically if they're $500, you doing that by yourself, or maybe you got one part-time guy to help out a couple days out of the week to give you some days off. Why not? Why not? What websites did you use for crime reports? I used what was it, crimereports.com, and there was another one that I used as well. But typically though, to answer your question, another thing that you could do is police reports and crime stats are public record. You can go down to your city administration building, and I believe, you'll probably just have to pay for the paper that they print the shit on, and they'll give you the crime reports if you can't find them online. Not all of the law enforcement agencies work along with these online businesses to report all that stuff. especially if you're in a small area, or even if you're just in an area where they just don't work with them. But they are public record. You can go down to your city administration building, go down to your police headquarters, and you can request copies of it. And it's super cheap. Like I said, you're paying for the paper that they're printing it on. I did that for a bit till I got big enough for them to notice me. Then they put me out of business. They lowballed me out of business. And yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Man. They got you. They will lowball you. They will do that, man. These big companies are notorious for lowballing folks. You gotta watch that shit, man. You gotta watch it because they'll do that. These big companies, they can afford to lowball. Because even if they turn around and they close the account at cost, they ain't making a damn dime off of it. They just got the account to have the account. Just to keep somebody else from getting this shit. You know what I'm saying? That'll happen. Yeah, I talked a lot about that shit earlier. I think I kind of went on a little rant about that earlier. That shit'll happen. That's why I say you got to know what you're worth. And sometimes you got to branch out away too, you know. Think about the area of where you want to operate your company. You know what I'm saying? For example, don't open a security company in an area it's already got 20 security companies. There's not much else that you can do differently than the other companies are already doing. You're going to put yourself in a very tough situation. I ran my company in the San Diego metro area. It's a major city in the U.S. Definitely a major city in California. And I was competing with a shit ton of other security companies. And one of the issues I had was lowballing. Now, you could beat these big bastards with it, though, because you know what? This is what happens. If they try to lowball you and that doesn't work, you know what the next step is? You know what they try to do then? They want to buy you. Now they're saying, oh, well, we can't lowball you and we can't bankrupt you, so now the next best thing is, can we offer you some money to buy out your business? Can we buy your name? We want to be you. We have that problem in Fresno. We got companies from the Bay Area coming. You know what? I got a buddy that lives in Fresno, and he's been telling me for years that area is just heavily saturated with security companies. That's why I said you got to kind of branch out. You got to do your research before you open these companies. You got to see what your competitors are offering. You know, if it's just the same basic shit, patrol, fucking stationary guard, you know, you gotta offer something else that these other guys aren't offering. You know, like this is the next thing I'm gonna say is gonna sound crazy, but think about how many companies offer it. Canine. Now I ain't talking about buying a fucking dog to be chasing people around their property and fucking biting them. No, drug dogs. Think about it like this: these security companies, as long as you have the insurance and the properly trained dog. You know what I'm saying? You know how many schools would hire you to sniff out drugs out of locker rooms? Think about how many parents would hire you to run a drug dog through their kid's room. Because they think they do dope. It's a possibility. Let's see here. Just last year we had 10 new security. I'm going to open up. We're moving to the area to operate. Damn. 10? Is Fresno that big? I didn't think that area was that big to have that many security companies there, man. I see them. California is tough, man. It's tough. Sometimes you got to move out of your comfort zone, man. That's what you got to do. You know, you got to move out of your comfort zone. Let's see. It's saturated in Oklahoma. Yeah, I bet. See, if you open a security company in a major city in the U.S., you're going to have a lot of competition. You're going to have a lot of competition. You know, you're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to get a comfort zone. You're going to have to reach out into the outlining areas and go pick up those accounts that the big fish don't want. Take their scraps, because those scraps is what's going to build you up to the big leagues. These motherfuckers didn't come out of the gates big like this. They didn't. You know? Let's see. My German Shepherd is my service animal, and she goes out to work with me. Cool, man. That's cool. Just be careful with that, man. Just make sure that, you know, you don't want that dog to bite somebody. That's really come on you. If she get loose, man, and she bites somebody, That's gonna be your ass. But that's cool though, man. You know, I know a lot of people that do take their pets to work. It's been done here. Ally Universal just bought outsourced. Yeah, it's being done everywhere. It's being done everywhere. The big companies are buying out a lot of the small guys in California. They're doing it here in AZ. They're doing it all over the place. They figure if hey, if I can't beat them, fuck it, I'll buy them. And you offer the right amount of money, I mean, think about it. If they come to you and they say, hey, you know what? I'll give you $1 million for your business right here. $1 million check right here for your business. And you know that at the end of the year, you may not even net half that. Take home half that. You shit. Why not? Here, yeah, I read that one already. Let's see. 5th largest city in California. Yeah. Well, I guess that's true. So yeah, any other questions, comments, statements? I'm sitting here in my man cave, it's my little personal gig right here. Anything else y'all want to know before I end this long as video? I mean, I'm glad to give you all the information. I've been sitting on this shit for years. And I was just kind of wondering, like, I got to thinking, like, man, maybe I should just go ahead and get all this shit out of my head and kind of let people know what's up. How I feel about the Chargers going to LA. You know what? I'm from San Diego, but I ain't a Charger fan at all. See that? Raiders, baby. Fuck the Chargers. I don't care where they go. They can move to an area outside the United States. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Shit. The Raiders talking about going to Vegas.